It was a quiet Saturday afternoon when Jack Miller, a single dad and Army veteran, pushed open the creaky door of his small-town hardware store. He wasn't there for tools, just a box of screws to fix his daughter Sophie's wobbly bookshelf. He never expected his life to change that day. As he walked down the aisle, he heard it, soft footsteps, hurried breathing. Then a tug on his sleeve. Jack looked down and froze. A little girl, maybe 9 years old, with tangled blonde hair and wide, tear-streaked eyes, was staring up at him. "Please," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Hide me. Please don't let him find me." Jack's instincts from years of service kicked in, alert, protective. He crouched down to her level. "Easy there, sweetheart. Who's after you?" She shook her head and pointed toward the door. A shadow moved across the glass. A man's silhouette. Before Jack could ask more, she shoved a small, worn backpack into his hands. "Please," she pleaded again. "Just keep this safe." Jack didn't hesitate. He tucked her behind a shelf of paint cans and stepped forward, squaring his shoulders. Whoever was coming in wasn't going to harm this child on his watch. The door swung open. A tall, disheveled man stormed inside, eyes wild. "You seen a little girl run through here?" he demanded, his voice sharp, almost desperate. Jack's years in uniform had taught him how to stand calm under pressure. He shook his head slowly. "No kids here, sir. Just me." The man glared, scanned the store, then stormed out, slamming the door so hard the glass rattled. Jack exhaled. He turned back to the shelf. The little girl was curled into a ball, sobbing silently. "Hey," Jack said gently, kneeling down. "It's okay. You're safe now." She clutched his sleeve, eyes begging him not to let go. That night, after calling Sophie to tell her daddy would be late, Jack sat the girl down at his kitchen table with a warm meal. She barely touched the food. Her small hands trembled around the fork. "What's your name?" Jack asked softly. "Emma," she whispered. "And that man, was he your dad?" Emma's lips quivered. She nodded. He hurts people when he's angry. He was yelling again today. I couldn't stay there." Jack felt his chest tighten. He'd seen fear in soldiers' eyes overseas. But to see it in a child, it broke something deep inside him. Then he remembered the backpack. He placed it on the table. "Emma, what's in here?" She froze, her face pale. "Please don't be mad." Jack opened it carefully. Inside was a bundle of school papers, a broken toy bunny with one ear missing, and a handful of crumpled dollar bills, no more than 20 in total. Emma's eyes filled with tears. "I was saving, to run away. To find my grandma. She lives 2 towns over. She always told me if things got bad I could come." Jack sat back, stunned. A 9-year-old planning her escape, counting dollar bills like lifelines. He reached across the table, taking her small hand in his callous one. "Emma, you don't have to run anymore. You're not alone now." The next morning, Jack made some calls, to child services, to a trusted police officer he'd served with, and finally, after some digging, to Emma's grandmother. When her grandmother arrived, the reunion was something Jack would never forget. Emma ran into her arms, sobbing with relief, and the older woman held her like she'd never let go again. "Thank you," she told Jack, tears streaming down her face. "You may have just saved her life." Jack nodded, his throat tight. He thought of Sophie, waiting for him at home, and how he'd want someone to protect her if she were ever in danger. That night, as Jack tucked Sophie into bed, she asked, "Daddy, why were you late yesterday?" Jack smiled faintly. "Because, sweetheart, sometimes people need us, and when they do, we show up." Sophie wrapped her little arms around his neck. "Just like you always show up for me." And in that quiet moment, Jack realized something. You don't have to be a soldier to be a hero. Sometimes, being there for a frightened child, giving hope where there was none, was the greatest act of courage of all.